Good afternoon. Thank you for watching This Is Now. We begin with this at noon. Police have arrested more than 2,000 people during pro-Palestinian protests at college campuses across the United States in recent weeks. That's according to the Associated Press. Officers broke up an encampment overnight on campus at UCLA, and police in Portland cleared out protesters from the State University Library. Today, President Biden giving his first public remarks about the topic, saying the demonstrations have not prompted him to rethink his Middle East policies. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York, where police remain outside several universities.
Students at Portland State University were told to shelter in place Thursday as police cleared out the library, which had been occupied by protesters. Police say they found tools, improvised weapons, and paint balloons. And this is what remains after police cleared out the pro-Palestinian encampment on the campus of UCLA. Overnight, officers in riot gear moved in, ripping apart the barricades that had been set up. More than 100 protesters were arrested.
We need to keep protesting, and that's the only way change will be made, right? By resisting the status quo. So.
As the day wore on, officers continued to make arrests in areas outside the encampment.
We are still seeing the resistance on the far end to my right.
As protests on college campuses nationwide escalate, President Biden spoke out, condemning the violence.
Breaking windows, shutting down campuses, forcing the cancellation of classes and graduations. None of this is a peaceful protest.
At George Washington University in D.C., there were dueling protests between protesters who were against the war in Gaza.
Humanity wins when we bring them home.
And pro-Israel demonstrators who want the focus to be on the release of the hostages. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Israel's war cabinet is meeting to discuss the next steps in negotiations for a hostage and ceasefire deal. This as a Hamas delegation is considering a visit to Egypt for further talks. Natalie Brand has the latest.
Families of Israeli hostages held captive by Hamas blocked traffic on a main road in Tel Aviv at the height of rush hour, calling for the immediate release of their loved ones.
We need to stop the war.
Ifat Calderon says Hamas kidnapped her cousin Ophir on October 7th.
Enough, it's 7 months already. There is no time for the hostages. They will be all dead.
In his 7th trip to the Middle East since the war began, Secretary of State Antony Blinken ramped up pressure to finalize a deal between Hamas and Israel for a ceasefire in exchange for hostages.
This is something that the whole world is watching.
But there's a key sticking point. Hamas is demanding a complete end to Israel's offensive.
Are you hopeful that they reach a deal?
It's very hard to predict.
Former Palestinian negotiator Gaeth Al-Omari describes the difficulties of the negotiation.
The Hamas leader in Gaza, Yahya Sinwar, wants a permanent ceasefire. For him, the hostages are literally human shields. He believes that if he gives up that and Israel doesn't commit to a permanent ceasefire, he will become exposed to an Israeli attacks, etc.
The U.S. is also pushing for more humanitarian aid to be included in a ceasefire deal to help avert a famine in Gaza. CBS News has learned the Biden administration is considering taking in certain Palestinians to the U.S. from Gaza as refugees. The focus is on immediate family members of American citizens or permanent residents. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Here at home, Governor Josh Green is expected to give an update on the Maui Wildfire recovery efforts this afternoon at the state capitol. He is also set to sign a new bill which sets aside critical funding for recovery efforts. We're also expecting updates on state properties and a new advisory committee. It all starts at 1:45 p.m. We'll be streaming it live on our digital platforms. Meanwhile, another bill to create more housing for Lahaina is headed to the governor's desk. The full Senate and House passed the measure to let counties convert short-term rentals to long-term ones. Governor Green has said he'll sign it. Maui County has already begun the process of phasing out more than 1,000 vacation rentals that were allowed to operate without permits since the early 90s. And Maui County is accusing cell carriers of violating federal rules. They say not enough was done to report service outages in a timely manner during the August wildfire disaster. The county filed a complaint in court on Wednesday against Verizon, T-Mobile, Spectrum, Spectrum Mobile, and AT&T. Leaders say during the emergency, they sent at least 14 text messages to the public about evacuations, but they later found out cell towers across the island, including all 21 towers servicing Lahaina, weren't working, and most people never received the texts. The county claims the carrier's communication failure impacted the emergency response. We asked each carrier for a response. Spectrum has declined to comment. We're still awaiting replies from the rest. State officials are investigating a cruise ship that Kauai advocates say got too close to the Nepali coast. Based on photographs, it appears the Celebrity Cruises ship came within 1,000 feet of the shoreline on Tuesday and stirred up sand as it turned around. Some feel it shows a lack of cultural respect.
It's just plain wrong to be in that close to the shore, period. I find it very offensive, very upsetting because of the lack of protocol.
We are aware of the situation. We've received numerous reports. Our officers on the island of Kauai, as well as here in Honolulu, are working this case at this point.
The ship is now docked at Honolulu Harbor. Celebrity Cruises advertises trips from Vancouver to Hawaii, but a passenger tells us they came here from Sydney, Australia. We reached out to the company and are waiting to hear back. A suspect is now in custody for that deadly shooting in Kalihi Tuesday night. 20-year-old Ethan Taumua was booked for second-degree murder and firearm offenses. The victim, a 23-year-old man, was shot on Linapuni Street near Kuhio Park Towers. Residents identified him as Richie Coney. HPD tells us the motive is under investigation, but some believe it may have been a gang dispute. Lawmakers have given final approval for Hawaii's first speed enforcement cameras since the failed van cam program 20 years ago. The state will use the existing red light cameras, which are now set up at 10 intersections around town. Those cameras also have speed detection technology. Police officers will review and approve citations, which will be mailed to the vehicle's registered owner. The state DOT says the first citations could be issued after 90 days of public education and warnings. The threshold for a speeding citation and the exact fines will be determined by the department. For more than 50 years, marijuana has been classified as one of the most dangerous drugs in the United States. But in a historic move, the Biden administration is recommending that cannabis be reclassified to a lower risk drug. Ivan Rodriguez has a look at the potential impacts.
The DOJ recommends reclassifying marijuana from a Schedule I substance to a Schedule III. Now, this classification is shared by prescription drugs such as ketamine and also Tylenol with codeine. So far, this has been hailed by lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. A potentially historic reversal.
Through decades of messaging and propaganda, we really created a major stigma around cannabis. So it became harder for politicians to recognize they were wrong.
The recommendation to lower marijuana to a Schedule III drug comes with the support of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's Controlled Substance Agency because it meets 3 criteria: a lower potential for abuse than other substances, currently accepted medical use and treatment, and a lower moderate risk of physical dependence in people who abuse it.
It's going to help cannabis businesses operate like every other business in America.
State-licensed cannabis dispensaries and retail shops are expected to generate $32.1 billion in sales this year, according to estimates from MJ Biz, an industry trade publication. Rescheduling marijuana could open new economic avenues and new opportunities for research.
I think we've not even come close to realizing the medical potential of cannabis.
But the manufacture, distribution, and possession of recreational marijuana would remain illegal under federal law, a reason for the reintroduction of the Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act, relaunched by senators Thursday. If passed by Congress and signed into law, it would end federal cannabis prohibition and expunge criminal records of people with low-level marijuana offenses.
It's past time for Congress to catch up with public opinion and to catch up with the science.
If the proposal becomes finalized in the coming months, it could drastically change the way we view marijuana. Currently, there are 24 states, 2 territories, and D.C. that have legalized marijuana for recreational use. 38 states allow for medical use. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
There's growing support for a proposal to turn Honolulu's Ocean Safety Division into a department, but ocean safety officers don't want the mayor to appoint the department's leader. Ben Gutierrez has more.
We're on the cusp of history, making us a standalone department. There's no other ocean safety agency that's not under a bigger department umbrella.
The current Ocean Safety Division in the Emergency Services Department has 235 full-time lifeguards and a $23 million budget. Those lifeguards are stoked about having their own department, but a lot of them got out of their towers to go before a city council committee today to express their reservations about a proposal that would allow the mayor to appoint their leader.
Resolution 24-103 will grant dictatorship-like powers with no transparency and accountability over to a director appointed by the mayor who will remain loyal to that person or face being replaced.
I think there's an overwhelming amount of support against, of people that are against a mayor appointed director. I think that's pretty clear.
Those concerns come after current Ocean Safety Division Chief John Titchen was placed on unpaid administrative leave last month, pending an investigation. The city administration hasn't commented on why, saying it's a personnel matter.
We currently have a chief. We like our chief. We want him to stay. We want him to be our department head. So having a director, that creates an issue there.
With the actions that have been happening recently, we honestly don't feel like we can trust the mayor's office. We feel like it's being forced. It doesn't feel right.
Instead, the lifeguards are supporting a proposal that would create an Ocean Safety Commission, which would be responsible for selecting a chief, similar to the police and fire commissions.
With a commission, there offers more transparency, more accountability, versus having a director, mayor appointed a director without a commission. He answers to the mayor.
But a new Ocean Safety Commission would have to be approved by voters in November.
I'm very confident that if the voters get a question of whether or not to form a commission, they will pass that. I believe it.
Has forwarded the various Ocean Safety Department proposals for further discussion, but they will have to get those final proposals done by the summer to get them on the November ballot. Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
All right, let's take a live look outside. This is San Francisco. You can see the Golden Gate Bridge there off in the distance. Beautiful day there, 67 degrees. Not too much fog, which is common this time of year. Here at home, Guy Hoggy says trade winds are going to strengthen today, and it's going to be a breezy weekend, Friday through Sunday. We're going to have your full forecast with him after this quick break.
How's it on this Thursday? We're in for more beautiful weather. Now, this morning, we've got a few showers coming into a handful of windward areas. Not a lot of rain expected yet. But over the weekend, we're expecting more clouds and showers upstream to move in. And that means it's going to be a little more showery. We're talking from Saturday all the way probably through Monday, maybe even to Tuesday. Now, this morning, we're still seeing fairly dry conditions, but there are some splashes coming through, riding in on the trade winds. Now, the trade winds will be ramping up, getting gusty from tomorrow and for the next several days after that. But for today, they'll run at moderate speeds, getting stronger in the afternoon to about 15 to 20. But overall, we're going to see another beautiful, gorgeous day. And with those winds getting stronger, humidity levels will be getting lower. And also with the winds getting stronger, the east side surf will be getting bigger. Not really big, but it's going to be choppy and rough out there. Not a whole lot happening otherwise, although box jellyfish will be swimming in to south and southwest shores, so heads up on that. So heads up too, with those stronger winds, we'll see more windward and Mauka showers. It's going to be a little damp from Saturday through Monday, with the rain easing up on Tuesday.
The city and county of Honolulu is searching for the next generation of leaders in ocean safety. Sign-ups for the city's junior lifeguard program are now open, and first in line is our Casey Lund.
Aloha from Ala Moana Beach Park. We've had a lot of fun out here today with the junior lifeguards, talking about the program kicking off on June 3rd. Registration is open now, and if it sounds like I'm out of breath, that's because I am. Lieutenant Zachary is with us. We've got Kainoa, we've got Aubrey, Sophia, and Eli, junior lifeguards, kids of lifeguards. We're talking about the program. Well, first of all, we'll roll that video, a shameful video. How did I do?
No, you did good. You did really good. You just burnt yourself up, but other than that, I'm stoked how you did.
The kids beat me with the conditioning, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. These kids are animals. They're junior guards, so they've been doing this for years.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit more about the program. I'll have Kainoa switch spots with you real fast. You know, we've kind of talked about this in the years past. This isn't swim lessons, right? You need to have a little bit of water competency, some knowledge. But you do want folks to come out, even if they're a little unsure of their skills. You guys want to kind of foster them to be even better watermen and waterwomen.
Yeah, I think JJ said it best earlier. It's an enhancement of the skills they already have. So even if they're not that good, and even if they do the minimum to pass our swim and performance exam the first day, by the end of the week, they'll be a different animal than they were when they came in, for sure.
Awesome. Let's put up on the screen the details, the locations for those 7 weeks of summer. You're going to be a busy guy as a director of the program, starting out on the west side, yeah?
Yep, starting on the west side, Makaha, June 3rd. Poka'i Bay the following week, and then we have Nanakuli, then here at Ala Moana, then we're on to the east side at Kailua. The following week will be the 6th week of this year, and that will be at Sherwoods, Waimanalo, and then we finish off at Kukulolio out on the northeast side of the island.
Awesome. Kainoa, thank you so much for today. I want to talk to the kids real fast. Aubrey, right? What did I do wrong?
I think
like the 20 years of bad lifestyle and diet and exercise.
Sure.
I did okay though, but you know that you don't really understand how much work that is until you're out there, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you what you like about being a junior lifeguard and your favorite part? I know it's a little chilly out here this morning.
I like just getting in the water and getting the exercise and stuff.
Spending time at the beach with your friends. Love it. What would you say, Sophia, to somebody that's a little intimidated, maybe this is their first time coming to junior lifeguards, to encourage them?
Just like stay calm, and like everyone is so supportive of you, and you'll just have a fun time.
Excellent. Eli, I want to end with you, brother. I know, I got to get you guys out of here. We're shivering. Yeah, you held back a little bit. I want to play that video again. You were trying to be nice to me?
Yeah.
I want to just ask you too, real quick before we go, what's the kind of bare minimum, the run, swim, run drill for junior lifeguards?
So usually we start around that area, and we run 100 meters to a point. Then we turn, and then we have to swim back 100 meters, go back to the starting point and run back, and then you're finished.
Something to practice while you have a little time before the program starts. If you're interested, again, June 3rd, the first program out on the west side in Makaha. You can also get enrolled in the junior lifeguard program from the North Shore. They do their own thing, the North Shore Lifeguard Association. We have all that information online at hawaiinewsnow.com. I'm gonna go lay down.
Trillions of cicadas are emerging in 12 states from the Midwest to the East Coast after more than a decade underground. And there's a rare opportunity to see two types of cicadas together for the first time in more than 200 years. Dave Malkoff reports from Georgia.
These are the coming attractions.
As you can see right here, it's going to split open.
A synchronized symphony of cicadas emerging from the Midwest to the East Coast.
So this is the first place to emerge in the United States?
Yeah.
In Northeast Georgia, it's the moment tree expert Campbell Vaughn has been waiting 13 years for.
Emerging from the exoskeleton, drying their wings, and then they're going to fly off.
This guy was living underground for 13 years. It's not like they create generations underground.
It's a big party for 13 years, isn't it?
Take a second and just listen to this. In real life, it's hard to tell exactly where the sound is coming from. That's because it's all happening in the treetops, 60 feet above us. This is where the action happens, where they are separated from predators that will gobble them up. They're looking to attract a mate.
This is the first time this has happened since Thomas Jefferson was president.
This year, in a rare dual emergence, the 13-year brood is making its appearance at the same time as the one that surfaces every 17 years, a cycle that aligns every 221 years and hasn't happened since 1803. Some folks in southern Illinois will get to see the once-in-a-lifetime show.
We're going to be looking at trillions of cicadas coming out this summer across Illinois.
Oh, wait, I think I got one.
We went to the University of Illinois, where they're not only digging for cicadas,
it's a boy,
but also cataloging generations of them.
These specimens are from the great grandparents of the generation that's coming out this year.
For cicadas, their long wait can sometimes end quickly. Everything eats them, from birds to squirrels.
Snakes and frogs
and people.
People, we might get lucky to do that.
Is this something that people are actually doing in the neighborhood?
I've never heard of this.
With a little hot sauce, these are a very rare kind of wings. You just ate it. What does it taste like?
Not bad.
But everyone gets full eventually. The survivors will mate and lay eggs, and when the youngest cicadas hatch and fall into the soil, it's their turn to wait a lifetime for their moment. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Lincoln County, Georgia.
Hope you're all enjoying your lunch there. A former NFL player and his daughter got into an impromptu chugging contest at a hockey playoff game. Jeannie Mo shows us how the little girl wowed the crowd.
It turned out to be a dad-daughter chugging contest, only Dad seemed overjoyed that his kid was such a pro. Former NFL offensive lineman Taylor Lewan was introduced. On the Jumbotron at a Stanley Cup hockey playoff in Nashville, he chugged a beer, then dumped it on his head. That's when his daughter Wynn began imitating him with her water. Chugging and chugging, and the longer she chugged, the more excited her dad got, until she finally came up for air and he lifted her up in his arms. Most folks thought it was awesome. That was the best daddy-daughter moment ever, though a few were put off. This is pathetic parenting, cringe fest. There's absolutely nothing cute about teaching your daughter to chug a drink. Tell that to Clark Griswold, who tried to bond with his son in the desert over a beer, and his son ended up chugging the whole can. Taylor Lewan tweeted, "The whole way home, my daughter was talking about how legendary it was." The Nashville Predators hockey team noted, "Like father, like daughter." And the NFL chimed in. Taylor Lewan gets out-chugged by his daughter. Dad chugged for 3 seconds, his daughter chugged for 12. As one commenter raved, "Future life of the party." Jeannie Mos, CNN, New York.
And finally, a wealthy Harry Potter superfan is about to spend some big bucks for a piece of wizarding history. The original cover art for the first edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is hitting the auction block soon. It's expected to set an auction record for a Harry Potter item. Now, author and illustrator Thomas Taylor created the original watercolor cover art. At just 23 years old, he created it in 2 days. Now, the cover was used for several translated versions of the book, but it was not used for the U.S. edition of the book, which had the title The Sorcerer's Stone, not the Philosopher's Stone. So it's expected to fetch up to $600,000. Thank you for watching. This is Now. We're going to have more news first at 4 right here on KHNL. Aloha.